Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 29th of 2020, and ever since the official release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been really curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are in a phase of desperation and damage control, really trying to get the job done when it comes to this new Star Wars universe. Essentially, what they really are trying to do is that they're trying to bring it back up to the Marvel Cinematic Universe level. They want to make it just as successful as that. And in order to really do that, like I've said multiple times, it's going to take a lot of time and effort. It's going to take at least a minimum of 3 to 4 years of a high success rate to really get the ball rolling when it comes to that big goal of theirs by Bob Iger and Chapek. Now, the great big change over at Lucasfilm behind the scenes all has to do with new creators coming on board, getting hired, and others getting promoted, like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, to having more creative control over at Lucasfilm over this new universe. We can really see the reformed Star Wars coming into place now, and that's exactly what Chapek is doing. He is regulating Star Wars and exactly how it's going to be handled by the new creators coming on board of this massive new franchise. They want to make it bigger than the old expanded universe from the 1990s and of course the early 2000s. Now, the thing about all of this that's really exciting is the fact that Kathleen Kennedy has a little to no creative control at all now with Star Wars behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. Now, specifically, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are currently focused on their new Star Wars universe as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films to be released in the near future. Now, it's described that George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are making major changes to the franchise behind the scenes. Now, it's described that recently Kathleen Kennedy has been very furious over the fact that she was recently not only fired from one of the animated Star Wars TV shows that was due for release in 2022, but other aspects over at Lucasfilm recently that is creating a massive impact over at Lucasfilm. Now, it's described that just recently Kathleen Kennedy was fired from the major TV series that was going to be based on a post-Episode 9 timeline that would focus on identity politics. It's noted that Kathleen Kennedy, before she was let go from the series, was going to focus on restarting the Star Wars franchise entirely with this new Star Wars TV show where new rules and traditions to Star Wars would be applied, where she would also change the philosophy of the Star Wars brand entirely. Now, Kennedy's original plan, of course, was to undo everything that George Lucas created with the Star Wars brand by resetting many aspects of Star Wars in this new TV show. Let me stop right here for a second, is that we can see that this is yet again a prime example that Kathleen Kennedy was a force of destruction when it came to Star Wars, right? What she was doing with the franchise was not really for the best at all. You know, obviously she really did a complete 180 on what she promised George Lucas of taking care of these characters back in 2012 when Disney took over Lucasfilm in that famous interview. Actually, I believe that that interview took place in 2013, give or take. She really promised George that she was going to take care of his creations, and she did not. So I think it's a great move that Disney and, of course, George Lucas and other creators are going to have more creative control now over at Lucasfilm and how the stories will be handled. Now, moving on beyond all of this, the story even gets better is that this led to a major concern by Bob Chapek as to how this series would negatively impact the Star Wars fandom and Disney and Lucasfilm as companies. By contract, Kennedy is really only allowed to handle one project and one project only, and so they let her go from the second TV series that was actually given to her as a test in a sense. Another major change-up is that they also recently let her go from the roadmap of Star Wars when it comes to the business end of the franchise, and that, of course, comes from the higher-ups over at Disney and how they will be handling many of the big decisions now from this point forward instead of Kennedy. Now, it's said that these choices to remove Kennedy from the roadmap and the animated show was George Lucas's decision in order to save the Star Wars franchise from failing further. Not just that, but also Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau will be reworking that animated TV series completely from the ground up, where Kennedy was also recently let go from the High Republic era, where all of that is being reworked by Lucas and others as well to ensure Star Wars can live on. As of now, Kennedy is only involved with the one Star Wars project by creator and writer Leslie Headland. Now let's focus on this for a second. Now this is very important that I think a lot of fans need to know right now. The Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series, it really seems like it's going to go in the Batman, or should I say the Batwoman, my apologies there, the Batwoman direction. And that TV show, as you all know, was a major failure because of what they were focusing on over story and character development. So it really seems like that TV show is going to be Kathleen Kennedy's final failure before she is 100% gone for good over at Lucasfilm. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below and let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.